The skies above Earth turned red on May 12, 2087, not from pollution or natural causes, but from the engines of alien ships entering Earth's atmosphere. Captain Diane Miller stood frozen on the bridge of the EDF Defender, watching her screens with horror as the unknown vessels approached. "What are they doing?" her first officer asked. Diane shook her head. "I don't know, but they're not responding to any of our signals." The alien ships had appeared without warning. 1 minute, Earth's orbital scanners showed nothing unusual. The next, strange vessels with purple glowing engines had popped into existence just past the moon. The world government scrambled to make sense of this historic moment. First contact, the day humanity had both dreamed of and feared. No one expected the aliens to start firing. The first blast hit the moon colony. 10,000 people lived there. The explosion was visible from Earth, a bright flash that left a dark crater where the main dome once stood. "They're attacking. All ships, defensive positions." Diane yelled into her comm unit, but the small Earth Defense Force was not ready for this. How could they be? Their ships were designed for keeping the peace between Earth nations, not fighting advanced alien attackers. On Mars, Major Frank Peterson ran through the red dust toward the emergency bunkers. Above him, 3 alien ships hovered, firing energy weapons at the colony's power plants and water storage facilities. Everyone inside. "Move," he shouted at the civilians, helping a small boy who had fallen in the rush. "We need to get to the emergency ships." The Mars colony had been humanity's greatest achievement. Now, evacuation was their only hope. Back on Earth, scientist Alan Carter worked frantically in his lab as sirens blared outside. Military forces had managed to shoot down one of the smaller alien craft, and the wreckage had been brought to his research facility. "Look at this," he said to his assistant, pointing at the alien metal. "Their shields have a frequency pattern. If we can match it and reverse it." His fingers flew over his keyboard as he analyzed the data. "They're advanced, but not invincible." At the United Nations emergency session, screens showed destruction across Earth's colonies and orbital stations. The Secretary General's face was grim. "The aliens call themselves the Vraxians. They claim to represent something called the Galactic Council," she announced. "They've sent a message saying that humanity is too aggressive and unpredictable to join galactic society. This attack is what they call containment." Angry voices filled the chamber. On a private channel, the leaders of Earth's major powers reached a decision that would change human history forever. "We activate the United Earth Defense Command protocols," the U.S. President said. "As of this moment, all Earth forces operate under unified command." In orbit, Captain Miller received the new orders as her ship dodged another alien blast. "We're retreating?" she asked in disbelief. "Strategic withdrawal," her commander corrected over the static fill channel. "We need time. Fall back to the hidden facilities in the asteroid belt. This isn't surrender, it's preparation." As the surviving Earth ships pulled back, the Vraxians established orbital positions around Earth. They broadcast messages about peace and containment, claiming they were protecting the galaxy from dangerous humans. Their sleek ships patrolled the space around Earth, setting up what they called a quarantine zone. They believed they had won easily. They thought humans would accept defeat. They were wrong. In a hidden facility deep under the Pacific Ocean, the newly formed United Earth Defense Command gathered. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials looked at the data from the attacks. "They think we're savages," General Elizabeth Ward said, her voice steady despite the losses they had suffered. "So let's show them what happens when you corner a so-called savage species." Alan Carter stepped forward with his findings on the alien technology. "Give me 5 years," he said. 5 years, and we'll have weapons that can pierce their shields." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. 5 years to prepare our counterattack," General Ward nodded. 5 years until Earth strikes back. 5 years passed since the day the sky turned red. 5 years of appearing weak and defeated. 5 years of secret preparation. Commander Susan Wright stood in the control room of Ceres base, hidden deep within the largest asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. Through the massive observation window, she watched as workers in spacesuits attached the final weapons array to the EDF Vengeance, Earth's newest battleship. "Right on schedule," she said, making a note on her tablet. The Vengeance was just one of 50 ships being built across the asteroid belt. The Phoenix program, as they called it, was humanity's answer to the Vraxian attack. What had once been mining operations were now secret shipyards, turning the resources of the asteroids into warships. "Commander, Lieutenant Daniels' team has returned from training," her assistant reported. Susan nodded. "Send him in." Lieutenant Gregory Daniels entered the control room, still wearing his tactical armor. His Special Forces team had been practicing combat in zero-gravity environments, preparing to board alien ships. "How did it go?" Susan asked. "Better than expected," Greg replied with a small smile. "We can now breach an alien airlock in under 2 minutes, and the new weapons Olivia designed work perfectly." Chief Engineer Olivia Martinez was a genius who had figured out how to make guns work in space without pushing the shooter backward. She had also created special bullets that could pass through alien shields. "The Vraxians think we're busy fighting each other on Earth," Susan said, looking at reports from the planet. "Their patrols have gotten lazy." The aliens believed they had successfully contained humanity. Their ships rarely ventured beyond Saturn now, and their scans of Earth showed only what humans wanted them to see: a planet struggling with its new reality, its people divided and weak. In a small office deep under the Pacific Ocean, Intelligence Officer Nathan Reeves studied information from his network of spies. When the Vraxians had arrived, they had brought translator devices to communicate with humans. Nathan's team had secretly modified these devices to also collect information. "Look at this," he said to his assistant, pointing at his screen. "The Galactic Council has 17 major species, but the Vraxians are only a minor power. They attacked us without proper authorization." "Can we use that?" his assistant asked. Nathan smiled. "Absolutely. And we know the locations of all their major worlds now." In another part of the hidden base, Olivia Martinez worked on a captured Vraxian shuttle. Her team had stripped it down, learned how it worked, and built 5 improved versions. "The shield frequency modulator is ready," she told her team. "Our weapons will go through their defenses like they're not even there." On the moon, where the colony had once stood, construction robots built what looked like a memorial site, but beneath the surface, automated factories produced thousands of combat drones and missiles. The Vraxians never bothered to scan below the surface. Earth itself had changed. The governments now worked together under the United Earth Defense Command. Every factory, every research lab, every university had one secret purpose: preparing for the day humanity would strike back. In orbit around Earth, Vraxian ships patrolled, their crews bored and complacent. They never noticed the small changes to Earth's satellites or the occasional missing supply ship. Admiral Kevin Richardson, Supreme Commander of Earth's forces, stood before the Leadership Council in the underground base. "We're ready," he announced. "The fleet is built. Our troops are trained. Our intelligence network has provided all the information we need." General Elizabeth Ward, now with gray in her hair after 5 years of constant work, looked at the battle plans on the screen. "Operation Blindside," she said. "The Vraxian homeworld first, then a message to the Galactic Council. They think we're savages," Admiral Richardson replied. "It's time to prove them right." In the asteroid belt, 50 warships powered up their engines, their hulls dark to avoid detection. Special Forces teams checked their weapons. Engineers made final adjustments to the new technology. The time for hiding was over. The time for Earth's ruthless counterattack had begun. The Vraxian homeworld glowed blue-green in the darkness of space, its 3 moons orbiting peacefully. Defense platforms circled the planet, their sensors aimed outward toward known jump points where ships might appear. They were looking in the wrong direction. 5 human ships materialized behind the smallest moon, using it as cover. They had not used the standard jump points. Earth scientists had discovered how to create their own entry points into regular space. All ships report ready, Admiral, the communications officer said. Admiral Kevin Richardson nodded from his command chair on the bridge of the EDF Vengeance. Begin Phase 1. On his order, hundreds of small objects launched silently from the Earth ships. They were stealth drones, each carrying Dr. Laura Wilson's special creation, a computer virus designed specifically for Vraxian systems. Drones will reach their targets in 3 minutes, the tactical officer reported. Richardson turned to the large screen showing a live feed from one of the drones. And now we wait. The drones attached themselves to communication satellites, defense platforms, and orbital stations. Within seconds, the virus began spreading through the Vraxian network. On the Vraxian command station, alarms suddenly went silent. Screens flickered and went dark. The commander rushed to the backup systems, but they too failed to respond. "What's happening?" he demanded, but no one had answers. All across the Vraxian defense network, systems shut down. Weapon platforms went offline. Communication between ships failed. The entire planet was suddenly blind and deaf to what was coming. Phase 1 complete, Richardson's tactical officer announced. All Vraxian defense systems are disabled. Begin Phase 2, the Admiral ordered. The 5 Earth ships moved out from behind the moon, now joined by 45 more that appeared from jump points created just outside the planet's orbit. The full human fleet revealed itself, their hulls gleaming with new technology. Launch fighters, deploy ground teams. From the belly of the Earth ships, smaller craft poured out. Some were fighters armed with shield-piercing weapons. Others carried Special Forces troops led by Colonel Samantha Bennett. The few Vraxian ships that managed to power up emergency systems were quickly overwhelmed. Their weapons couldn't penetrate the new Earth shields, while human weapons cut through their defenses easily. On the planet's surface, in the capital city, the Vraxian High Commander was in his office when the windows suddenly darkened. The building's power failed, emergency lights casting an eerie glow. The door to his office burst open. Colonel Bennett stood there with her team, weapons ready. "High Commander," she said calmly, "you are now in Earth custody." Across the planet, similar scenes played out. Key military leaders, government officials, and scientific directors found themselves facing human Special Forces teams who appeared out of nowhere. In orbit, Admiral Richardson watched as the last Vraxian ship surrendered. The entire operation had taken less than an hour. "Send the message to the Galactic Council," he ordered. Diplomatic Officer Benjamin Harrison stepped forward. He had prepared for this moment for years, learning alien languages and protocols. "Transmitting now, sir," he said. Throughout Council space, on thousands of planets and stations, screens suddenly activated without warning. The virus had spread beyond the Vraxian systems, giving humans access to the entire Council communication network. Every Council member saw the same image. Earth's fleet surrounding the defeated Vraxian homeworld, human soldiers taking control of key facilities, and Vraxian leaders being escorted into custody. Benjamin Harrison's face appeared on all screens. "Attention, Galactic Council. This message comes from the United Earth Defense Command. 5 years ago, the Vraxians attacked Earth without provocation, claiming to act with Council authority. Today, we have demonstrated that humans will not be contained or controlled." The broadcast showed more images, Earth ships with technology matching or exceeding Vraxian capabilities, human soldiers operating with precision and discipline, and finally, the Vraxian High Commander signing a document of surrender. "Earth now demands a seat at the Council table," Harrison continued. "We will arrive at the Council station in 7 days. We expect to be recognized as equals." The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence across the galaxy. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Admiral Richardson looked at the blue-green planet below. 24 hours, he said quietly. We took their world in 24 hours. Operation Blindside was complete. The counterattack had just begun. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 17 major species and dozens of minor ones shouted over each other. The curved walls of the massive room, usually glowing with a calm blue light, now pulsed red, the universal color for emergency. At the center of the chamber, the High Counselor, a tall being with 4 arms and silvery skin, slammed a ceremonial staff against the floor. The sound echoed, bringing temporary silence. "Order. We will have order," the High Counselor demanded. On the main screen, images of the Vraxian homeworld under human control played on a loop. The council members watched with a mix of fear and fascination as human ships patrolled Vraxian space, ships that shouldn't exist, with technology that humans shouldn't have. "How did they build such a fleet in only 5 years?" asked the Zontari representative, their eye stalks quivering. They were a pre-FTL civilization when the containment began. The doors to the chamber slid open. A group of humans walked in, led by Ambassador Joseph Cooper. The room fell silent as all eyes turned to them. Cooper stepped forward, his face showing no emotion. He was an older man with gray hair and the straight posture of a former military officer. Behind him stood a delegation of Earth's finest, scientists, military personnel, and diplomats. "Honorable Council," Cooper began, his voice steady and clear, "I bring greetings from Earth. And evidence." He placed a small device on the central platform. It projected images above it, recordings of the unprovoked Vraxian attack on Earth, the destruction of the moon colony, the bombardment of Mars. "The Vraxians claim to act with council authority," Cooper said. "They told us that the Galactic Council had judged humanity too dangerous to join galactic society. Was this true?" Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many council members looked uncomfortable. The Vraxian representative, now under guard, spoke up. "We acted to protect the galaxy. Humans are violent, unpredictable." Silence. The High Counselor interrupted. "You have no standing here after your unauthorized action." Vice Admiral Patricia Davis stepped forward from the human delegation. She was a tall woman with dark skin and commanding presence. "Perhaps the Council would like a demonstration of human capabilities," she suggested. Her tone was polite, but her eyes were cold. On her signal, the main screen changed to show a live feed. A small human ship approached an empty area of space near the Council station. Suddenly, the ship fired a single missile. The missile split into thousands of smaller projectiles, each changing direction independently, forming a perfect 3-dimensional image of Earth in space, all without hitting any nearby vessels. "Precision targeting," Davis explained. "We could have done this to the Vraxian fleet at any time." The council chamber was utterly silent now. A small, furry representative from a minor race called the Beltorians stood up. "The humans have shown remarkable restraint. They could have destroyed the Vraxians, but chose capture instead. Perhaps we should listen." "Listen to savages." The voice came from the Selmar representative, a reptilian being with gleaming scales. "They attacked a council race." "After we were attacked first," Cooper replied calmly. "Earth demands representation on this council. We demand reparations for the unprovoked assault on our world. And we insist on a full investigation into why the Vraxians were allowed to attack us without council approval." Several other representatives began nodding. Some minor races even applauded. A High Counselor looked troubled. "This will require deliberation. Ambassador Cooper, your delegation will be given quarters while we discuss these demands." As the humans left the chamber, panic spread among many council races. Private messages flew between representatives. Military assessments were hastily prepared. One fact became clear to all. Humans had achieved in 5 years what took most species centuries. They had reverse-engineered alien technology, built a fleet in secret, and defeated a council race in a single day. The Selmar representative watched the humans leave, eyes narrowed with hatred. In a private communication room, he contacted his homeworld. "Prepare the fleet," he hissed. "The human threat must be eliminated before they grow stronger." The Galactic Council was in crisis, and the crisis was just beginning. The Council Station's diplomatic wing had never housed humans before. The air was adjusted to Earth standard, but the furniture was still designed for a variety of alien bodies. Head negotiator Derek Wallace sat uncomfortably in a chair meant for a being with a different spine structure. "They're making us wait on purpose," he said to Lieutenant Sharon Fisher, who stood guard nearby. "It's a power play." Sharon nodded, her hand never far from her weapon. Her security team was spread throughout the diplomatic wing, watching for threats. They all wore simple uniforms, but underneath were advanced combat suits that could harden instantly if attacked. "Our intelligence suggests that Xelnar are the ones to watch," she replied quietly. The door slid open. The blue-skinned council aide entered and bowed slightly. "The council will see you now," the aide announced. Derek stood, straightening his jacket. He was not a large man, but his mind was sharp as a blade. Before the alien attack, he had been Earth's top international lawyer. Now, he would negotiate for humanity's place among the stars. "Remember," he told his team as they walked toward the council chamber, "we're not asking for permission. We're telling them how it's going to be." The chamber was less chaotic today, but tension filled the air. Derek took his place at the speaking platform, notes ready on his tablet. "Esteemed council members," he began, "Earth proposes a new relationship with the galactic community. We have prepared legal documents based on your own laws and precedents." What followed was a masterclass in diplomatic warfare. Derek cited council laws that even some members had forgotten. He pointed out how the Vraxian attack violated at least 7 major treaties. He demonstrated how Earth qualified for full membership based on the Council's own technological and cultural requirements. When the Xelnar representative tried to interrupt with legal objections, Derek smoothly countered each point before the translator even finished speaking. "How does the human know our laws so well?" whispered one council member to another. The answer came when Derek mentioned details of private council sessions that should have been secret. He referenced classified trade agreements and hidden political alliances. "As you can see from the Mecteri-Zonteri secret military pact," Derek said casually, causing both mentioned species representatives to gasp. In a monitoring room nearby, communications specialist Michelle Garcia watched the proceedings with a smile. Intelligence officer Nathan Reeves sat beside her, his spy network having provided all the secrets Derek was now using. "They're realizing we know everything," Michelle said. Nathan nodded. 5 years of listening. 5 years of watching. Knowledge is the best weapon. Back in the council chamber, the Xelnar representative stood suddenly, his scales changing color with anger. "This is outrageous. Humans are using stolen information to manipulate the council." Sharon Fisher noticed that Xelnar's guards moving subtly toward positions around the human delegation. She tapped a hidden signal to alert her team. The attack came swiftly. Xelnar guards drawing energy weapons and firing at Derek. But Sharon was faster. She pushed Derek aside and activated her combat suit, which absorbed the energy blast. Her team moved in perfect coordination, neutralizing the Xelnar guards without killing them. The entire chamber watched in shock as the humans subdued the attackers in seconds, with precision that spoke of extensive training. Michelle Garcia made sure every moment was recorded and broadcast across all council communication channels. Billions of beings across thousands of worlds watched the assassination attempt and the controlled professional human response. When it was over, Derek Wallace straightened his jacket and returned to the speaking platform as if nothing had happened. "As I was saying," he continued calmly, "Earth proposes the following terms." The council moderates began distancing themselves from the Xelnar immediately. Several minor species requested private meetings with the human delegation after the session. By the end of the day, Earth had secured allies among the council races. The diplomatic battlefield had shifted dramatically in humanity's favor. In his private quarters, the Xelnar representative received a message from his homeworld. "Diplomatic approach has failed," he wrote, proceeding with military option. Little did he know that human intelligence had intercepted this message before it even reached its destination. The warning came at 300 Earth time. Emergency alarms blared throughout the United Earth Defense Command headquarters under the Pacific Ocean. Multiple Xelnar warships have appeared in Earth orbit, reported the officer on duty. They somehow bypassed our early warning systems. General Elizabeth Ward rushed to the command center, still pulling on her uniform jacket. The main screen showed at least 30 Xelnar ships positioning themselves above major cities. How did they get past our defenses? She demanded. Unknown, General. They're using some kind of technology we haven't seen before. On the screen, the first shots fired. Energy beams streaked toward Earth's surface. But instead of hitting the cities, they struck invisible barriers that shimmered into visibility upon impact. The glass protocol is working, one technician said with relief. The glass protocol was Earth's final defense, a planetary shield system built in secret during the 5 years of preparation. Its existence had been Earth's most closely guarded secret, known only to the highest levels of command. General Ward opened a secure channel. Vice Admiral Davis, they've taken the bait. Execute Phase 2. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden by the giant planet's magnetic field, Vice Admiral Patricia Davis commanded a reserve fleet that no one, not even the Vraxians, knew about. All ships, battle stations, she ordered. Jump to Earth coordinates now. The Xelnar fleet continued firing at Earth, confused by the shields that shouldn't exist. Their sensors were fully focused on breaking through the planetary defenses. They never saw the human fleet materialize behind them. Target their engines only, Davis commanded. Show them what happens when you attack Earth. Human ships opened fire with precision. Within minutes, half the Xelnar fleet was disabled, unable to maneuver or jump away. Inside Earth's atmosphere, Captain Eric Johnson led a squadron of atmospheric fighters, rescuing civilians from areas where the Xelnar weapons had partially penetrated the shields. Stay low and follow the evacuation routes. He instructed over the public channel as his team escorted ground transports to safety. His fighter dived beneath a Xelnar energy beam, then looped back to provide cover for a school bus filled with children. The battle lasted less than 2 hours. When it ended, the Xelnar fleet was captured or destroyed. Not a single human ship was lost. In the council chamber, Ambassador Cooper played the recording of the battle for all representatives to see. The Xelnar launched an unprovoked attack on our homeworld, he stated. They attempted to destroy our cities and kill our civilians. The Xelnar representative could say nothing in defense. The evidence was clear. Then Admiral Richardson appeared on the main screen, transmitting from his flagship. Honorable Council, he said formally, the United Earth Defense Command has something to show you. The screen split to show different locations across the galaxy. At each one, a previously invisible human weapons platform decloaked near the homeworld of a council race. Gasps filled the chamber as representatives recognized their own planets. We placed these defensive platforms near every council homeworld 3 years ago, Richardson explained calmly. They were never activated. They were simply insurance. He looked directly at the Xelnar representative, including 12 platforms around the Xelnar homeworld. The Xelnar representative's scales turned pale. You're bluffing, he hissed. Richardson smiled slightly. We can demonstrate, if you wish. The chamber erupted in shouts and cries. The High Counselor slammed his staff repeatedly for order. When quiet finally returned, Richardson continued. Earth has no desire for conquest. The platforms will be removed once peace treaties are signed. We offer the Xelnar the same terms we gave the Vraxians. Surrender and reparations, or face the consequences. The Xelnar representative looked around the chamber, finding no allies. Even his traditional supporters had backed away. We accept your terms, he said finally. As the screen went dark, the council members looked at the human delegation with new understanding. Humans had not just caught up to galactic technology. They had surpassed it. They had planned for every possibility, prepared for every betrayal. The message was clear. Earth would not be threatened again. 1 year after the Selnar surrender, the Galactic Council looked very different. The Great Circular Chamber now featured a new section where human representatives sat alongside allies they had made among the stars. Ambassador Joseph Cooper stood at the center platform, addressing the gathered species. His hair had more gray now, but his posture remained straight and proud. 1 year ago, we were strangers to this chamber, he said. Today, we celebrate the first anniversary of the reformed Galactic Compact. Around the chamber, representatives nodded in agreement. The old council was gone, replaced by a new organization built on principles that humans had insisted upon: mutual respect, fair trade, and the right of all species to defend themselves. In orbit above, Commander Susan Wright walked the deck of the peacekeeping fleet's flagship. What had begun as Earth's secret armada was now a combined force with ships from 12 different species. Her uniform bore both Earth's emblem and the new symbol of the reformed compact. "Status report," she requested from her first officer. "All sectors peaceful, Commander. The Beltorian trade dispute was resolved yesterday without incident." Susan smiled. The joint fleet wasn't just for show. It had real power to protect trade routes and prevent the strong from bullying the weak. But in the past year, they had never fired a shot in anger. On the Vraxian homeworld, scientist Alan Carter worked side by side with Vraxian engineers. The laboratory buzzed with activity as they developed new medical technology together. "I think we've solved the protein compatibility issue," a Vraxian scientist said, looking through a microscope. Alan nodded. "This will help millions on both our worlds." Not all Vraxians had welcomed humans, but many had come to respect them, especially when Earth had provided aid after a natural disaster struck their southern continent 3 months earlier. Chief Engineer Olivia Martinez led the technology sharing program from a massive space station built at the edge of Earth's solar system. Representatives from allied species worked at various stations, learning from each other. The Zonteri propulsion system, combined with our navigation computers, increases efficiency by 40%. She explained to a group of engineers. "This is how we all advance, together." On Earth itself, things had changed too. Alien visitors walked the streets of major cities. Cultural exchange programs brought art, music, and ideas from across the galaxy. Universities hosted students of a dozen different species. In New York, a memorial ceremony took place for those lost in the initial attack 6 years earlier. Admiral Richardson stood at the podium, looking out at the crowd of humans and aliens alike. "We remember our fallen," he said solemnly. "Their sacrifice brought us not just victory, but a chance to build something greater than ourselves." Behind him stood a monument, a simple stone pillar with names carved into its surface. At the base, flowers and tokens from various worlds had been placed in respect. The ceremony ended, and Richardson met with the UEDC leadership on the observation deck of the new space elevator. Through the massive windows, they could see Earth below and the stars above. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when we started building the hidden fleet?" General Ward asked, her uniform now adorned with the highest military honors Earth could bestow. Richardson shook his head. "I thought we'd be lucky to survive. I never dreamed we'd be leading the galaxy." Derek Wallace, now Earth's chief representative to the Reformed Compact, joined them with a data tablet in hand. 3 more species have applied to join our alliance," he announced, including the Xelnar. That was perhaps the most surprising development. After a year of isolation, the Xelnar had replaced their government and requested to join the new order. As night fell across Earth, lights from alien embassies glowed in major cities. In orbit, ships from a dozen worlds moved peacefully. On distant planets, humans worked alongside former enemies. The stars had never seemed so close, or the future so bright.